I believe you're going to have one question in your homework that has to do with interpolation and extrapolation. So here's your definition of both of those. For something to be interpolation, that means that you're making a conclusion about a value that is keyword right here inside the data set. So then extrapolation is making now a prediction about a value that's outside or beyond the data set. So we're going to need that information for down here on part C. So example 6 says the annual revenue from global biometrics market for the years from 2016 and projected to 2025 can be modeled by the function. And then we have our y equals with x equaling to the number of years after 2015 and y equal to the revenue in billions of dollars. So we first need to graph this function for x equals 0 to x equals 11. So this is my x min and my x max. This right here is an example of when this zoom fit is perfect. When they give me a, what am I trying to say? When they give me a range of where to graph this along that X value, but nothing about the Y window, that's when you're using that zoom fit. So going into our calculator here, we'll type this in. And I'm going to go in here to window, and I'm going to change this from 0 to 11. Once I have that changed, I will go zoom 0. And that is making my calculator think very, very hard. Let me try just turning this off. And graphing. So sometimes, I don't know why, it stumps your calculator. Just turn it off, turn it back on, and it's usually fine. Okay, so I changed my X min and my X max. Then we hit zoom 0, and we got this graph here. Now, is this a complete graph? No, because you can see it's starting to turn, so it's eventually going to come back up. We're missing like the other half of this, but it's not asking for us to graph the entire quadratic. It wants it just specifically in this window right here. So check, we have graphed it. Find the global biometrics revenue projected by this model for 2030. So if X is the number of years after 2015, my X will equal 2030 minus 2015 to get an X of 15. Okay, now hopefully that kind of rings a bell, but let's just kind of say it didn't, because this is going to happen often. To find this, all I need to do is hit my trace feature. If I know what X equals, anytime you're given X, use trace. So if I do trace 15 and hit enter, I get an error. Why? Well, right up here, I made my X max 11, and I'm trying to figure out what happens when X is 15. So I need to go to my window and expand my X max out. So we're going to change our X max then we can do trace 15, enter. So you can change it to 15. I'm going to change it to 17, like to go just a little bit beyond it. And now I'm going to hit graph. And now I'll do trace 15. And we get our answer here, 30.623. Now word problems need word answer. So what unit? My Y is equal to the revenue of billions of dollars. So we have $30.623 billion. Now C wants to know, is the value in part B an interpolation or an extrapolation? Well, to figure that out, this told me here that this was for the years from 2016 and projected through 2025. And if I am in 2030 in part B, this is outside or beyond my data set. So because it is outside of this number here, this one would be an extrapolation.